That's 2 thumbs up for me.
That was low, Batman. That was real low. Which I generally approve of, except you use it against me, which isn't cool.
Actually, it was super cool.
Alright, fine. Pig's yours.
Hey, thanks, big guy.
But no more switching it up. From now on, you are always thumbs up, and I'm always thumbs down.
Always.
Thanks, kid. You know, with entire seconds of hindsight, I can see I didn't want the pig on my team anyway. I mean, somebody who just goes around eating everything in sight? Who needs that? What I am bitter about is the whole calculator thing. So, I propose you and I have another math battle. We just need somebody to battle over.
Well, why don't we just use all these people who showed up to watch the fight?
Oh. A bunch of people did show up to watch our fight. Okay. We could battle over them.
Well, we won't need to fight over all of them, because these guys who you kicked out of that math venture clearly aren't going to be on your team. So they can just come straight over to bat. Come on, guys.
Now, hold on. I did not disqualify them from any math ventures. It was my students who failed to answer the poll questions correctly.
Yeah, so your students, which I think still makes it your fault.
Okay, and like Cincinnati Smith, I mean, it's not that he got disqualified from the math venture. He never even got invited in the first place. Oh, that's worse, isn't it? Sorry. But, I mean, you can have most of them. Metalbeard, Benny, that weird coffee guy. But Taco Tonio is where I draw the line.
Draw the line, huh? So, some kind of graphing problem?
Oh, well, it could be, but that's... No, I mean metaphorically draw the line. You can have these guys... Oh, weird. I thought I saw something back there. Anyway, you can't have Taco Tonio. That's what I'm saying.
So, you're saying the battle's on?
That's right, Batman. The battle's on for Taco Tonio. Math battle. I'm not even going to let you pick the number. You're going to pick something boring, like 2.
Yeah, 2 works for me.
All right. May the best mather keep the tacos. And this time I know I can use a calculator. So check this out. All right, so if you're doing number 2 on your test, Batman, I'm going to do number 21. That's the one that looks the same. So students recorded the total number of pages and chapters in each of several books on the scatter plot. So total number of chapters. They didn't have a book that had 1 chapter. They had a couple books that only had 2 chapters, which seems weird, but that's fine. 2 chapters. There was 50 pages here. 60 pages here. A 3-chapter book had not quite 80 pages. A book with 5 chapters. They had 1 5-chapter book that had 140 pages. Another 5-chapter book that had 160 pages. And on and on and on. And so based on the scatter plot, which is the best prediction of the total number of pages in a book with 4 chapters? So you can see there was no 4 here. So they didn't have any books with 4 chapters in this pile. Now, they didn't have all the books in the universe, right? They only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They just picked 9 books off a shelf, and they mapped out or plotted, plotted out those books. And we're trying to figure out if they had a book with 4 chapters, how many chapters would this book have had? So since we can use our calculator, we come over here to our calculator and we go to Stat, and the first option is Edit. So if you just hit Enter, that's the first thing you want to do. And L1 is always going to be your X-axis. So here on my X, I'm looking at these numbers, and well, technically what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at each point. So I look at this point here. Might as well start from the left like I'm reading. And then I can see it's got two numbers. It's got a 2 below it, and it's got a 50 off to its left. The 50 is not written in, but it's exactly halfway between the 40 and the 60. So I'm going to put in a 2 as the X value, and I'm going to put in 50 as the Y value. So it's already highlighted on list 1. That's my X. So 2, enter. And then I come over to list 2, and on the calculator I'm going to have to go over, and I hit 50, enter. And so there's my first point, 2 chapters, 50 pages. Bloop. And I might as well go ahead and mark that to keep track of which ones I've done and which ones I haven't done. So did that one. And then I got my next one, which is still 2 chapters, but 60 pages. So I go back over to L1. I've got 2 chapters, and hit enter. And then go over to L2, 60 pages. Enter. And I'm ready to put in my third book. So I come across this out. And then I've got to put in the third book, the fourth book, the fifth book, the sixth book, the seventh book, the eighth book, the ninth book. So it's going to take me a little while. I'm going to go ahead and start putting these into my calculator. And I guess I won't even make you watch that. I'll just keep doing that same process. Let me do it one more time for you to see. The third book has 3 chapters. And I have to eyeball this. We're going to say 78 pages. It could be 77. It could be possibly 76. I think it's 79. It doesn't look that close. But, you know, we're just eyeballing it. And as long as you're close, it should be fine. So I'm going to go through these other points and just taking my time. I will let you not watch all of that, and I'll bring you back in when I'm done.
1 hour later.
Get out of here. It's not going to take a whole hour. It's just going to take a little time. Not a whole hour. Cut that out. All right. So now you can see I have every single point from my graph listed here. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points. So then I am done with the first step. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to stat. And now I don't want to edit. I already put in the numbers I want. I want to go over to calc. So go over to calc. And I'm looking for linear regression. And we'll talk about why that is in future videos, I'm sure. So I go to 4. X list is L1. Exactly. Now these are the defaults. And that's why I said use L1 for X and L2 for Y. If you switch those up or use different lists or whatever, you could just change these to put in whatever list you put your X values in, whatever list you put your Y values in. It's just more of a pain to change those than to keep it on the defaults. So since you have to enter them in fresh anyway, you just enter them in this way. But if I wanted this to be list 4 instead, if I'd accidentally put my X's in list 4, I just go second, list 4, and it treats everything I put in list 4 as my X. So in this case, that's not true. I definitely used list 1. So second, list 1. And linear regression, AX plus B. So I hit enter. And what it's going to do is it's going to tell me, it's going to ask me all these things. So for each line, I just hit enter. And when I get to calculate and hit enter, it tells me that Y equals AX plus B, where A is 29.77227723, and B is negative 4.613861. a bunch of stuff. So let me jot those values down over here on this page. Y equals 29 point, and I'm just going to round it off at the hundreds place because I don't want to write all that. So A is in front of X, right? You can see here, Y equals AX plus B. So that number, 29.77, blah, 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 goes in front of X. And then I'm adding B to it. Now, since B is a negative, I'm not going to put plus negative. I'm just going to put minus. And then 4.613, and then I got to round. Well, I rounded to the hundreds over there, so I can just stop there. Y equals 29.77x minus 4.61. So, don't forget, Y, this vertical axis, tells me the number of pages. So the number of pages equals 29.77 times X, aka times the number of chapters, minus 4.6. So however many chapters, if I know how many chapters the book has, I multiply that by 29.77, and then I subtract 4.61 from the end, and that gives me my answer. So here, it asks me about 4 chapters. So I come over, and I close that. So I come over here, and I say, okay, 29.77 times 4. And what's the last thing I do? I subtract 4.61. And that equals 114.47. I don't have 114.47, but 120 is only 6 away from 114. And the other ones are further away. Right, this is like 20 away. This one's almost 30 away. Yeah, those are all further away. So then my answer's got to be D, because when I use my calculator, now that I know I can use calculators, right, Batman? Batman?
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you done? I mean, that was super boring. I mean, I'm nocturnal, and I couldn't even stay awake through it.
Oh, well, let's see your much better idea, Mr. Calculator Man.
Calculator for this problem? Don't be ridiculous. Watch this, kids. So, you jump to the end here, and you can see, based on the scatter plot, what is the best prediction of the speed of sound when the air is at temperature 50 degrees. So, I need to know about when the temperature is 50 degrees. That's going to be over here. So I'll just write in 50 degrees. And then this whole thing is clearly just a line. So I just grab a marker and I just draw a line that connects all those.
Wait, what? You're supposed to use a calculator.
No, I'm allowed to use a calculator. I'm not supposed to. I still get to decide what I want to do.
Yeah, well, you used a calculator on the last one.
Yeah, because on the last one it made sense.
But don't you have to use a calculator?
No. I could tie my shoelaces together, but I don't have to. You could use a calculator, but you don't have to. And quite frankly, it would make more sense to tie your shoelaces together for the rest of your life than do all that weird stuff you just did.
Oh, come on.
So here I just follow the line until it hits 50, and I can see that's up here by 360. So, answer's H. Already done.
Come on, Batman, that's totally cheating.
That's not cheating. I think you're just bad at math.
Bad at math, Batman? I am literally a math teacher. You can't...